Well, I was impressed by the talent on the Clemson team coming into the game. I was impressed with the talent on the Clemson team during the course of the game. I thought they gave us a pretty good go. And so in view of that, I thought it was a good, solid win for us.
Let's talk about your defense, Coach Groh. Clemson scores on that first possession, goes 80 yards. I think they had about 130 yards the rest of the game. If you could talk about the way your defense really stepped up.
Well, the defense obviously did a real good job. We've been trying to build to be able to play this way here for quite some time, and tonight they were up to the test. We got burned a little bit early, but the thing I liked about it best was nobody was shook by it, staff-wise or player-wise, and they took a pretty good punch. That's what a good boxer's got to do, take a punch and shake it off and get back in the middle of the ring, and they did a good job with that.
We talked at halftime, and you said you were going to continue to emphasize the running game in the second half, and it looked like you really began to overpower them at the line in the third quarter.
Well, that's part of the principle of running the ball, that it's a cumulative thing, and usually it adds up to a little bit more in the second half a lot of times than it does in the first half, and it worked out well for us that way tonight. I thought Alvin gave us a real good spark there when he went in, and just as not that this separates him from lots of other players on the team, but it certainly distinguishes him as such. Be hard to see a football player that's got more heart than Alvin Pierman, but then he's got a lot of colleagues on the team that way.
Al, to follow up on Alvin Pierman's game, we saw him at wide receiver first couple plays of the game, and what do you know, at the end of the game, he's polishing it off at running back. Mr. Versatility.
Well, really, he was we were in some empty there, and he was in as a tailback, and so when they all spread out, some of them look like wide receivers, but he was in as a – but the reason we can get in that formation is because our tailbacks do have the versatility to do that.
You've often talked about your offense wanting to continue to move the chains and your quarterback doing that. If you could discuss your third down efficiency tonight, I believe you were 14 of 20 on third down conversions, Coach.
Well, that's always a product of having third and short. And when we ran the ball more efficiently, that we had more in the second half. That was one of the objectives of the second half, is create more third and shorts than what we had. And so usually that good percentage is a product of that, and turned out that way again this time too.
Coach, congratulations.
Thanks.
Guys.
Your first touchdown drive came after a 32-yard completion on 3rd and 11. It seemed like while you had some third and shorts, you also picked up a lot of 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 9s and 3rd and 11s.
Yeah, we made a couple of those that really helped us out, but that was all Marcus and the guys that he was getting the ball to. Dayon had a real good play on one of them that I remember. And so when you're able to do that, your quarterback has to step up and make some plays for you. If you're going to be a good team, your quarterback has to do that. And our quarterback stepped up and had another nice, solid game for us.
Was tonight the first night really seeing what Dayon can do for the offense, what he can bring?
Well, it certainly was the most he had more explosive plays tonight than probably he's had one or two a game, but he put together a couple more of them in tonight. It looks like he's got his legs back now to what he'd like him and that we'd like them to be.
Now, speaking of running the game in third and shorts, does the performance today compared to what it was like against Clemson last year show how far your running game has come in the last year?
I don't know. I'm not into comparisons. I'm just looking at tonight. I thought that we did what was necessary here tonight. This has put us where we said we wanted to be. We're moving towards November the 1st, and the objective of the season is to get to November the 1st and still be in the hunt. And so we remain in the hunt. That's what it did tonight. That's nothing less, nothing more. Kept us in the hunt. I'm sure Florida State's not particularly impressed with it. They're the defending champions, and they are that until somebody changes it. So.
Marcus seemed to run a lot early in the game. Was that by design? Was he kind of jazzed up maybe? Or?
No, he was being Marcus. He created some real good plays for us there.
How it seems as if some of the adversity was self-inflicted. You had some penalties there in the third quarter, and yet you seemed to rise above it all.
Well, we did. We made some mistakes that are on the list of things that we've got to go back and make improvement on. We had a very harmful turnover that wasn't just turning the ball over; it turned points over. That was going to be a 3 or a 7-point possession. We can't have that kind of mistake. We had mistakes there, kind of bunched up in the third quarter when we should be into the game a little bit more efficient. So that's amongst the things on the list of things that, if we're going to stay in the hunt, that we can't afford here as we continue to move into the race.
Now, Wally didn't go back in after that fumble. Is there a message there, or was it just that Alvin had the hot hand?
No message. We got three backs that we like to use. You saw that we used them all tonight, and The next possession was Alvin's possession anyway, and then when he got in there, he was pretty hot. It didn't seem that it made much logical sense to change him at that particular time, and he certainly confirmed that. But this was another one of those cases, that I said here a couple of weeks ago. Players make the difference, and not coaches. And I thought the players made the difference.
How did Kwaku play tonight?
Solid, maybe a little more than solid. I told him.
A little more than adequate.
Solid, adequate, a little more.
Did you get a look at the replay on Heath Miller's touchdown? Did you sneak a look at that?
I did not. I don't kind of fall into the fan behavior too often. I didn't see it.
It was,
I got a pretty
it was
good,
worth looking at.
I got a pretty good look from the sideline. If it's better on the screen than it was in person, then it's pretty good. That's another one of those plenty of heart players.
You learn anything more about your team tonight? You said each week it's been a gradual pickup in competition. Did you have a better feel, better gauge on?
Oh yeah, as the competition certainly was up. This is a team going into the season that I thought was going to be one of the most talented and best teams in the conference. I still feel that way. We did a very good job on their dynamic playmakers today. Miller's capable of changing the game, and we did a good job, except for one there with our coverage teams. We gave up bad field position on that one, and that hurt us. And we did a good job on Whitehurst, who I think is a tremendously talented quarterback. And we certainly, while we had our hands full with Leroy Hill, we didn't allow him to take the game over as was the case last year. So players knew what the challenges were in front of them, and I thought they really responded to that challenge.
I'm not sure you had any sacks, but it seemed as if obviously you contained their passing game. What was some of the philosophy going into the game, strategy?
Just there was no particular. I mean, what occurred there wasn't any set plan to, get. No, we wanted to get pressure on the quarterback, vary our coverages a little bit, give some different looks, try to challenge particular guys in matchups, and just defend the patterns up the field.
Any noteworthy adjustments at halftime because you dominated the third quarter? Was there a lot changed at halftime? Or?
Well, we put a particular emphasis on certain aspects of the game plan, eliminated some things, put a major emphasis on some others, and we got a rule for the players: don't talk about strategy, so the coach better adhere to the rule too.
Do you think the progression of this season to this point, you feel ready for Tallahassee to take this team down there?
Well, we could be less ready. I don't know if we're ready enough. Okay, we'll find out. We could be less ready than what we are. Obviously, we could be 2-3 or 3-2 or something like that. We could be less ready, but as I said, we'll see what it brings. We're just same thing that we've been trying to do right from the start. We're going to put our head down, set our jaw, and try to plow forward.
Does Jay Snelling's injury look long-term, or can you tell yet?
I haven't gotten usually between talking to the players in the locker room and then coming in and talking to you all, and all I know is that he was out of the game, and it'll be later into the evening here when I have the time to sit down and talk with the medical people.
Tell me about the play when Hagan put his head down and ran for the first down. I mean, how impressed were you to see him do that, or were you scared?
Hey, you're asking the wrong guy. Ask him. Okay, ask him. I've mentioned the heart that Miller and Pearman showed on some plays today, but that they really just represented the heart of the team. And Alvin's play and Alvin's heart certainly is in that kind of circle of guys too. But that was a terrific play. That was a real gamer's play. That's what guys do. When guys step up and lead their team, that's what they do.
At the end of the third quarter, I don't think it was still a 6-point game. Obviously, you were down to the 2-yard line. Did you feel the third quarter that you would warn them out and would feel the benefits of that in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, we started to get a sense that, as I mentioned, Doug, the cumulative effect that the running game takes was starting to work, and just it's not pertinent to the question that you asked, but wanted to slip it in here before I forgot. Real good night for Connor Hughes. 50-yard field goal. 2 two others that he knocked through there, and they were very important at the time. You know, they don't look like it's 30-10. They don't look like maybe they were that decisive in the game, but they were very significant at the time that they occurred.
On Monday, your baseball analogies, you're saying maybe move from AA to AAA to major leagues. Was this a major league type performance?
Well, it was a good performance. You know, we'll see. When we look back on the season, I think we'll be able to get a better gauge as to what league we belong in. But what we know next week is we're playing World Series competition. So we'll have to rise to that since we haven't ever been in the World Series here yet ourselves.
They had to burn some first half timeouts. Atmosphere, did you think it was pretty good tonight?
I thought the atmosphere was great. As I've said before, it's not often that that the surrounding environment breaks through into either through the headset or concentration, focus on the game, but they broke through a few times tonight. I thought they did. They were very impressive, very impressive. It's becoming obviously a great atmosphere for the home team to play in, and you know, we're very appreciative of them, and really we're very appreciative of the indulgence of many of the people here who were inconvenienced a little bit by this. You know, it does disrupt the academic circumstances a little bit, disrupted some faculty things, and one thing that we're very cognizant about is that the most important group really at a university is the faculty. And so we hope that they enjoyed it, especially those football fans, and we apologize for any inconvenience that they might have suffered.
Coach, Elton Brown's had a lot of good games. Was tonight one of his better efforts?
Well, Elton was, you know, it's hard when you're trying to run the game and manage different situations. It's hard to really assess the overall quality of the game of an interior lineman. When he did get out in space, he did his usual very good job out there tonight, and we had a lot of plays in which he was pulling on the play. And so as much as the runner, I thought the tight ends did a very good job at the point of attack. Heath and Patrick, thought they were very good there. But the guys who were leading us through did really an excellent job.
The second half, as your team has played defensively this year?
Yeah, I would probably say, given the threat that the other opponent put forth on us, I thought those were real good receivers and a real good quarterback. So I would say yes. If I remember correctly now, with Boston College coming on the schedule, while this was supposed to be a 2-year rotation with this bracket, I think Clemson comes off for us next year so that we play Boston College, and this is our third. We're probably the first team in the conference to have faced Whitehurst 3 times, and we're more than happy that our sentence is over.
Timely substitution of for Alvin there at the end. Did you know he had 99
Somebody
yards?
told me that on the sideline, yes.
You don't usually want to know that kind of stuff, but in this case, you gave him a big hug. It seemed like you were...
Obviously, the spark that he gave us and the production that he gave us was certainly warranted that. He deserved it, and I thought he deserved a little cameo for the crowd to let them show their appreciation for him, too.
What was your greatest fear tonight? Was there anything that you knew that just couldn't happen, and particularly early?
A quarterback like this is always capable of taking the game over himself. And, you know, we see that frequently with teams. Our quarterback certainly did that the previous 2 seasons on a number of occasions where by himself, with a particularly hot game, he raised the overall performance of the team. And I think this kid's a terrific quarterback, and certainly very concerned at the possibility of that occurring.
Shows a lot about your confidence in your special teams to kick right at Miller. You pleased with the way they slowed him down?
Well, one of the things that we think is an important thing to do, Jay, is to trust the players. You know, trust the players to be able to perform what they've been trained to do. And if you don't trust them in a competitive situation, why put them out there? And that's kind of that was the philosophy behind that. And I thought they did it. Other than the one, we did a terrific job. Kurt really kicked the ball well. He settled the issue on 3 or 4 of those. You know, made it something that just wasn't going to occur. So that was real good. That was real.
No panic in your team. When you talked about you're taking the early punch, it seemed like, you know, things didn't really go your way the way they had in some other games. Talk about the poise that they showed.
Yeah, that was. We talked going into the ball game staff-wise, that this was going to be the kind of opponent who could create that, and that coaching staff-wise, that something like that occurred, that we had to be very settled about it and project that to the players to be very settled about it. And so I thought both the staff and the players responded in a very good way to the circumstance. But yeah, it was, it was a little bit shaky there, and then at one time it looked like it had the chance to go to 14. We turned it back and made it 10 instead of 14. So that, even though right now it doesn't look that, here at 11 o'clock it doesn't look that way. That game at a point had a chance to kind of start walking away from us early.
Did you like what you got to see out of Melvin making that switch over? He was in big on one tackle.
Melvin.
Who was it switched over from offensive line? Came in and made one big tackle. Was there anybody?
Oh, I don't think there was, no.
Okay.
Not that I know of.